Welcome to the podcast. It's My Favorite CPA. I'm CPA Dan Hodges for myfavoritecpa.com. Today, we have a special guest. It's my longtime friend Maury with A1 Sanitary Sewer and Drain Services here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Maury, thanks for coming on the show today.
Glad to be here.
My fans and my listeners, they're always interested in seeing people that are successful in business. And I don't want to tell your story, that's for you to tell. I know you've had a little bit of success in your business. So first off, could you just talk a little bit about, your background and how did you get into business?
Honestly, I was in construction to begin with back when I was way young, and I actually got fired from a job and took a job with my best friend in the sewer business as his helper.
No kidding.
Yeah, and wasn't making hardly any money, but I stuck with it because I liked it.
You learned the trade.
Yeah, and then 6 months into the game, he got fired, and I took his spot as the full-time guy.
Okay.
Been doing it pretty much ever since full-time. I got out of it for a little bit, but I worked different places, and I ended up landing at Roto-Rooter for 15 years. I worked for Roto-Rooter here local.
Yep.
And
That's like a franchise that's nationwide, right?
Yeah. It was a good company to work for back in the day.
They probably have some good systems, or
They
did.
do for the most part, but they have such a turnover rate, and it's hard to keep training guys over and over and over again when, and it's like it just takes a lot away from what you're doing. And and I was an official trainer back when I was with them.
It's a lot of stress for you as somebody that's in charge.
But I mean, they gave me an official name, but they didn't give me any official pay for it. So
it's the way it is sometimes.
But yeah, and then but I stuck with it, and then I decided to get away from them for a while and work for
another sewer company.
Yeah, and then I got out of it for a while because I got burnt out and went into the lawn business and did fertilizing for a while and lawn care, and had an opportunity to get back into the sewer business full time and took it, and then I did the mowing on the side. So
I didn't realize that.
yeah, so I had a business doing that. It was just part-time, and then I worked for a local company for about 5 years, and then this opportunity came along. This opportunity has actually been here for about 8 years prior to me buying it.
Okay.
I kept turning it down because it's like, nah. I don't want to be the owner guy. I just want to do my job and go.
You want to be a worker.
Done.
Yep.
Well, then the guy got desperate, and he tried to sell it. The guy that he sold it to couldn't come up with any money, and he pretty much called and almost begged me in.
Said I'll work out a special deal for
We'll
you.
work something out.
Yep.
And he did, and I bought it in 2020 on a 5-year contract, and I paid it off in 3.5.
Wow.
Quadrupled the sales of the business since 2020.
That is not easy to do, Maury. So I know you're a very humble person, but that is not easy to do, and you should be very proud.
I have a lot of followers that's been with me for a long time that know that I do good work.
Different commercial properties and apartment complexes.
Yeah, and I got a a reputation in this town that I do the right thing, and I don't sugarcoat anything. I just tell them what they need to hear, and if this is what you need, do it for, and I recommend you get other quotes or estimates to see where we stand, and this is what we can do for you. And it's been really good to me. And honestly, I wish I would have done this 8 years ago.
Yep.
To tell my younger self.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I can't complain at all. I employ eight guys right now.
Okay.
Getting ready to hire one more since I got one getting ready to go off for surgery, but I got a great crew, man. I can't complain.
I can tell you care about your people a lot, and not only your customers, but your people.
Yeah.
And if you master those two things,
well,
everything else will take care of itself.
It's not the easiest thing in the world because
if it were easy, everybody would do it, right?
Yeah. You try. Everybody's got the habit of trying to micromanage, and I learned that I can't do that, and I got to put the trust in.
You got to teach, You got to trust,
That's
right?
exactly right. And I was told by an old fella a long time ago, share your knowledge. It's going to make your job easy.
Yeah.
And that paid off.
That's
Dividends, yeah. And we're doing really well. And I'll be able to retire comfortably in 4 years and be out.
man, that is great.
Yeah. And that's with investing money in different things. And opportunities came along since I've had the actual money to do what I need to do. And I never dreamed I'd be in this spot where I really don't have to worry about money. So it's been good to me.
But you're a pretty humble guy, and you have a. You don't
my
live in
means.
like a McMansion or nothing like that. You like to camp, and
I love camping. That's our favorite thing to do. My wife and I, we spend as much time at the campground. It's not a fancy place, but it's comfortable. It's peaceful, and we don't live
Be
in
outside.
a big mansion. We have a modest home, a little ranch home. It's an older house in an old neighborhood, and I love it. I wouldn't move. Everybody says, well, how come you don't buy a better, bigger place? I don't want that.
Yep.
I'm happy with what I have.
I'll bet you got some wild stories thinking about the sewer business.
Yeah, there's some I can't talk about.
Okay, well, don't talk about those.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely. I believe there must be a sewer fairy in this town because he magically throws things down drains that people say they've never
I didn't
done.
do it. I didn't do it. Right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, as far as that goes, I mean,
I've
seen a lot of different things and a lot of different people, and it's never a dull moment. I can tell you that. It's always interesting to do what we do, and that's what makes it so nice to do what I do because it's never boring. I don't.
Well, in your field, if somebody can't, use their, if they can't use the shower, if they can't use their toilets, it's kind of like, in some fields, there's no emergencies. Like in my field, there's not really any emergencies. There's things that are priority and there's things we got to do, but there's no emergencies.
Yeah.
In your field, if you got someone that can't shower or they can't use the bathroom,
Yeah, people don't understand or don't realize how important their drains are until they can't use them. And so that's where we kind of benefit. But I will say this. We really don't do after our emergency up till like 8 o'clock, and that's only for a few.
true.
Because I don't want to burn my guys out. We're a family-oriented company, and I don't want to have them out all night because pretty much they're worthless the next day if they're out. Because I did it. I did all that. And
Been there, done that.
I seen how it works, and we're just not that. And it's paid off for us. And people understand that if they need to call somebody else, I don't get mad about that.
Now, so in your field, is there a lot of competition? I mean, you probably have some standards in town, and then you probably have, I'm just guessing, are there people that are popping up left and right and like one man, one truck kind of deal?
Yeah, they do that a lot. They come and go so fast because, it's everybody thinks it's so easy to do, and it's not that simple. It's honestly the reason I bought A1 because it's established. Because it's really hard to start from the just to open the door and
hang out a
start
shingle.
business. Yeah,
Yep.
unless you got something.
You'll starve for a
and
while,
I took a name
right?
that another guy built up for 25 years, and we just took it to a different level, and it's paid off.
You optimized a few things and made a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
correct decisions, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we did a little bit more investing in different.
The right equipment.
Exactly. I'm not afraid to put money back in to make more money or make it easier on my guys because, the more I do for them, the more they do for me.
My dad used to say, sometimes half the job is having the right tools.
Exactly. Half the battle.
Yep. Are you a big believer in maintenance?
Yeah. Big believer in preventative because and I will say this is always a thing with, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, but in the realty business, we try to push for people to do camera inspections
When they're
of
buying?
sewers before they purchase. And sometimes I just feel like they don't want to do it because I feel like they think, well, if they find a problem, then I got to start over and renegotiate and all that. And I understand that part too, and I'm not mad at them for it, but I just think that's not being a full service.
Because you could be buying somebody else's problem.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, why not spend a couple $100 to have a video inspection versus spending 15 grand on a repair?
Particularly if it was like an apartment complex, but would you also recommend it for a single family home?
Oh yeah, I highly recommend, because especially in the older neighborhoods, I mean, this all clay tile. And I mean, 90% of them are cracked or broke somewhere, and you can find them problems before, or if there is an existing problem, and
You can find
a
it.
couple months after you buy the house, and you're stuck with a $10,000 or $15,000 bill.
Wow.
And it happens a lot.
More than you could imagine, I bet.
A lot more than people. Yeah, exactly. A lot more than people know. That's a big thing. That's why I push for it, and I don't know. Some people use it, and I have a couple realtors that hang on to us pretty tight.
That's a great program. I think people would be wise to consider that.
Yeah.
Whether they're on the investor side or making their first home.
And I hate to be this kind of bold about saying this is pretty much a pay me now or pay me later business. So, I mean, it's either you pay a little bit as you go as a maintenance, or
pay a few $100s for that pre-inspection.
Yeah.
Or you get stuck with a $10,000 bill. Because it's not just the sewer guy. You also have the city. There's city issues that pop up. There's municipal. And God forbid if they run a. Do you guys deal with septics?
We only run the lines up to the tanks. We try. Well, we do to a certain extent, but we try to stay away from the. It's almost
it's its own animal, but it's almost a dying thing too. Unless you're out in the country,
it's turned into a different scene with septics. They got mound systems, and they get so elaborate anymore, and it's so expensive to do. And I don't know. We just don't have time to do our sewer and drains, and then do the septic systems on top. We got people we refer.
Now, I want to take the conversation just a little bit different slant, because as you know, the name of this particular podcast is The Business Of. And so today we're talking about the business of, sanitary sewer and drains. And you don't have to reveal any micro details. We can talk round numbers, and we can talk about, locally, regionally, statewide, and around the country. Is there any opportunity in this field, or is it all going down the drain?
Literally. Pretty much all the established companies been here for a while. It's hard to break into it, and it takes time. I mean, somebody can do it, but you got to be pretty much hands-on for a long time. If you're just trying to get into it as an investment, you got to have really good guys, and that'd be a lot harder.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Exactly, and that's
you got to build the reputation, build the brand.
Yep.
You can't exactly advertise in the phone book anymore.
Well, I still do, honestly. I have an ad, but the reason they keep that's for the elderly that don't really have access to computers.
That's
and
a
they
good
still
point.
go in the phone book, and if 1-2 people look at it and they call us off that paid for it for the month. It's
makes
not
sense.
real expensive, but that's the reason I stay in the phone book, for that reason, for the elderly people.
You got a heart.
Try.
Let's see. I guess another thing I want to talk about is, financial side of your field. Is it more profitable to do like the service, or is it more profitable to do like the total rehab deals, like nationally and regionally?
For
what would you
us, the sewer and drain is a great cash flow. And then we do spot repair on sewers. So we do a lot of excavation, but we don't do total installation.
Total, okay.
And I feel like you could probably make it about the same amount of money if you did it, but it takes a lot more time, a lot more guys.
A lot more capital, I bet you.
Yeah, it's just
gotta
a lot
have equipment
more, so we're more a smaller group and making more money that way. I don't need a big crew, and I'm not making any extra money. That's why I stick to the spot repair, emergency spot repairs as well.
You're staying in your lane.
Yeah, and we try to stay that. If we can't do it, we know somebody that can. We refer a lot of different people. We get referred by a lot of plumbers in town.
I know
call
you do.
us,
I know you do.
We appreciate it too.
Yep.
And we recommend them. Some of them don't need our recommendations, and they don't. They appreciate it, but they would rather stay with what they have because they're happy with what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just getting to the point where they're happy with coasting.
Got it. Is there anything looking in the rearview mirror here? You know, you've been working a while in both as a worker and then as an owner. Is there anything you would tell your past self? Like, you kind of touched on something earlier, but what advice would you give your past self?
Well, honestly, like I said before, if I had the opportunity, I should have took it a long time ago, because your body can only take this for so long. And if I would have been smart 10 years ago, I think I would have been better off physically.
Yeah.
Because this work is really hard on you. Mm-hmm. But it keeps you, keeps you pretty healthy too. Because honestly, you work with a lot of bacterias, but it builds your immune system up, and I barely ever get sick.
That's crazy.
It is, but I've been told by the doctor that's why. Because
No
my
kidding.
body's around that stuff, and
So you can just
your
fight
body
it off
just
better.
builds up an immune system because you're around that all the time. The only thing you got to watch, you just got to keep your hands clean. Don't rub your face with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You get pink eye.
Shower off.
Shower every day, sometimes twice a day if you have the means.
Big job. Mm-hmm.
Carry clean clothes with you. Always, I supply the guys with all the protective equipment they need. That's something that I didn't use when I was back in my day, and I wish I would have, like knee pads and back braces and such.
Take care of yourself.
Exactly, and if instead of jumping in and out of a hole, use a ladder, because you'll pay for it someday.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Real good advice. Well, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is there any stone we left unturned?
Not really. I mean, if I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't change a thing except for gotten into the ownership a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When the opportunity came knocking the first time.
That's sage advice.
Yeah.
For anyone that's thinking about going into business. It's scary, but
It is.
It's you can do it.
Yeah, and my manager, he's going to buy me out in about 4 years, and I can tell he's still scared to do it because he's still leaning on me pretty hard about not bailing, and it's like, I won't bail on him, but, I'll stay on as a consultant, but you're going to pay for my insurance,
Well,
buddy.
Sure. It's got to work for everybody.
No, I got a great manager. Actually, two of them. I got one for the service side, one for the excavation side, and they do wonderful. I don't even have to go in if I didn't want to, but I like
it.
to be there.
I know that about you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on today. Take one of these mugs with you, the My Favorite CPA mug. And for my listeners, what I'd like to say now is do us a favor. Hit that like button. If you would, drop a comment down below, subscribe, and hit the bell for alerts. If there's something you'd like to see us talk about, shoot me a DM. And bye for now. We'll see you next time.